Jack and to the League Against Cruel Sport and Action Against Fox Hunting, because this campaign is a long one and we need to keep fighting. So it's great to see so many of you here today. Let's have a round of applause and thank you to the League for all the work they're doing on this campaign. My name is Dominic Dyer, Chief Executive of the Badger Trust. I also work for the Born Free Foundation. I'm known to many of you as a wildlife campaigner in this country. This is an issue very, very close to my heart. There is no justification for fox hunting in this country. Wouldn't you agree? Yes! It is an exceptionally cruel pastime that belongs in the history books. But I'm afraid there are a lot of vested interests in this country that want to keep fox hunting alive. And trail hunting is just an example of where they can see them getting around the law as it stands at the moment. As Jack quite rightly said, the Hunting Act is one of the most popular pieces of legislation on the statute book. If you ask most people about laws in this country, they're quite ignorant about them and they don't identify with them. But if you ask them about fox hunting, over 80% of the population, and that includes people living in the countryside as well as living in the towns, fully accept the need to stop people sending hounds out to rip wild animals apart. Would you agree? Yes! And trail hunting should not be happening on any land. But for it to happen on the National Trust, one of the most trusted institutions in this country, with millions of members, that receives millions in donations and legacies every year, that is seen as a custodian of the land and our history, including our natural history, is absolutely wrong. Wouldn't you agree? Yes! Now, on ethical grounds, the National Trust has no legs to stand on in terms of allowing this to continue. But I'm afraid this is not an ethical or a wildlife protection debate. It's about who controls institutions like the National Trust. I remember last time that this came to the AGM, the National Trust chairman used the proxy vote to overturn the will of those people that wanted to stop this barbarity on National Trust land. Do any of you agree what Simon Jenkins did? No! But there's a real risk, I'm afraid, that when it comes back next year, that could happen again. So what we need to do is have a wider debate about what's happening in our countryside. Now, the Badger Trust is concerned about trail hunting because we know that when hunts go out, they fill in badger sets. Yes. The badger is a protected species, but also one of the most persecuted in Britain today. By the end of this year, under government culling licences, probably 130,000 badgers will have been killed since 2013, pushing the species to the verge of local extinction in areas of the country where it's lived since the Ice Age. We probably lose 50,000 badgers on the road every year. We lose badgers to developers and badger baiters. So why, oh why, will the National Trust risk more badgers when in fact they are working with us to vaccinate them and not cull them by allowing trail hunts to send their hounds out, which could result in badger sets being filled in? Do you think that's right? No! And that is the crux of the issue for us. But it also goes to the control in the countryside. Wildlife crime, as you'll be hearing at the Badger Trust Symposium in Leamington Spa on the 9th of November, we've got Charlie Moores here from Lodge, who'll be chairing a very important debate, is out of control in this country. We have on shooting estates, on farmland, on land owned by organisations like the National Trust, widespread, indiscriminate wildlife crime. Wouldn't you agree? Yes! Badgers are being targeted. Stoats, weasels are being targeted. Foxes are being killed. It doesn't matter if the animal has protection under the law or not. Gamekeepers are killing badgers. Fox hunts are killing stoats and weasels, and foxes, of course. Gamekeepers are killing some of the most endangered birds of prey. Absolutely. That are not just endangered in Britain, but are endangered around the world, like the golden eagle and the hen harrier. We can't talk about protecting elephants in Africa. We allow gamekeepers to kill these beautiful endangered species in our own backyard. Wouldn't you agree? Yes! So we have to take back control. I know that's a word you hear a lot about, no doubt from Boris Johnson again today. But I'm not just talking about taking back control in relation to our relationship with Europe. I'm talking about something more important. That's taking back control of our countryside. Wouldn't you agree? Yes! Because the countryside is not owned by landowners, farmers and developers. Rich, wealthy, influential people that can influence politicians and judiciary or organisations like the National Trust. It is owned by all of us. Wouldn't you agree? Yes! And we know this green and pleasant land is not so green and pleasant when we look at it closely. We can travel across Britain today and parts of it, I'm afraid, are like an ecological desert. Wouldn't you agree?
Yes!
Because the wildlife is being destroyed in front of our eyes. We know that. The State of Nature report published 2 weeks ago, which looks at the decline in wildlife species and habitats in this country, was a devastating indictment of modern society, of farming, of shooting, of hunting, of development, that in my lifetime since 1970 has seen over a 60% decline in a wildlife species across this country. Do any of us feel that's right?
No!
We are the last generation that can be seen as custodians of this land. If we don't get it right now, we'll be handing over ecological desert across this landscape to the people that will follow us. Do any of us want to see that happen?
No!
So we have to make a stand. We have to make a stand for organisations like the National Trust to do the right thing. We have to make a stand to change the nature of farming in this countryside. We have to make a stand to change the nature of urban development. We have to take back control of the landscapes that are so important to us. We have to be a voice for the voiceless. Organisations, charities, individuals, everyone must come together and put our differences aside and accept this battle is bigger than anything about Europe or politics. It's about the very future of this beautiful, beautiful world that we share with all the animals around us. We have a duty of care and compassion. We have a duty to hand this countryside and this landscape over to our next generation in a better state than we found it. We can't keep destroying it, we can't keep plundering it, we can't allow ignorance, greed, exploitation and stupidity to keep destroying our wildlife. Wouldn't you agree?
Yes!
So please keep coming to protests like this. I know how hard Emily and others work regionally, and Jack with the League Against Cruel Sports. It is terribly important that outside public events, outside National Trust properties, anywhere where we can get the message across that we will make a stand to protect wildlife, we need to keep doing it. Because only if you make a stand, only if you come out in places like this today, only if you share those images on social media, only if you tell your work friends and your family and your colleagues that this needs to happen, will we change things. The danger is complacency. The danger is that people just won't know what's going on and won't take an interest. Yes, the vast majority of National Trust members do not know the reality of trail hunting, but we need to make sure they do know before this comes back to the AGM here next year. Wouldn't you agree?
Yes!
We need to use the democracy within this institution to change this policy, but we need to use this campaign to draw wider public awareness to why we must make a stand to protect our landscapes and the beautiful wildlife that we share this country with. We fight this battle today, we fight this battle tomorrow, but with care and compassion in our hearts, we'll finally win it. Thank you very much.